outline for us precisely where you think he is inexperienced or doesn't have the experience that you have in order to be President of the United States.
I don't think I've ever said he isn't up to the job. I happen to like the man very much. The fact is, though, he's had a little over 4 years' experience in a constitutionally weak governorship, as I said during the debate. And I'm not sure that, that he's prepared to go up against an Al Gore or Bill Bradley, both of whom are very intelligent men who have extensive experience, not just in domestic policy, but in foreign policy, and I might add some of these other areas that, are very difficult. Look, when Jimmy Carter became president, he's a brilliant man, but many felt that he couldn't quite reach the learning curve that existed then. Well, you can triple that learning curve today. Much more difficult today, many more problems today, and I don't think we want to entrust the presidency to somebody who may or may not be able to cut it. I think we've got to have somebody who's known.
But by making the case that you made at one of the debates that he should spend 8 years as vice president before becoming president, are you contributing to this perception that some people have out there that George W. Bush, is a bit of a lightweight?
Well, of course, keep in mind that was meant to be a humorous quip. On the other hand, I think what is on everybody's mind throughout the country is, you know, does he have enough experience? Can he really handle it? My personal belief is that if he's our nominee, he'll be able to handle it. He's a bright guy. He's a very fine person. He's got a good sense of humor. He's got a good way about him. People like him. And so, I have no problem with that. My only worry is, can he go up against an Al Gore or Bill Bradley and really win? And I'm worried about it because I do not want to have a continuation of the current administration, which really, I think, has done some pretty bad things to this country.
Senator, back to campaign tactics. Looking at that Schornstein poll, it is true that most Americans aren't focused, but primary activists are focused, and other campaigns are moving. If money is not is typically a leading indicator of a progression of a campaign. In the last reporting period, although you're doing better now, the last one on record, you had the lowest cash on hand after Alan Keyes. Do you have, if money is not an indication, do you have any indicators that your campaign is making progress? Because other campaigns, John McCain's for instance, is.
Yeah, we do. As a matter of fact, we are making, I see resonance in Iowa. We have a way to go in New Hampshire. There are some other states where we'll do very well. You know, look, we're running a real campaign reform type campaign. I'm trying to expand the party by asking individual, ordinary Americans out there to send in $36 or more. If I get 1 million people to do that, we're going to win this doggone race, and I'll tell you something, it'll be the first time somebody's really gone out there, gone to the people and said, look, help me out. Send in $36. It's ornhatch.com or ornhatch.org or Post Office Box 3636, Salt Lake City, Utah. So let me tell you something. If I happen to get that 1 million people, and I think I can during the month of January, who will give $36 or more, so I'll have the same amount of money George Bush had the day I filed on July 1st, I'll tell you something. It'll be a tremendous change in this country from the fat cat elitists who run the country in both parties and have been running it all these years. Look, I've got a real shot at this if the people get behind me, and I think they will. But they haven't concentrated on it yet, and I think they will concentrate on it.
Here's something you're not getting, Senator, and it does amaze we who know you. The buzzwords or the key attributes the press is focusing on in Campaign 2000 are authenticity and narrative. They can't get enough of Bradley's story and John McCain's story and their authentic natures. There is no one more authentic than you that's been shown in the debates or as accessible, and you have a wonderful Horatio Alger story. What's your opinion of why the media isn't taking your candidacy more seriously and giving you the kind of focus that they are McCain and Bradley?
Well, keep in mind, I've come from 12th when I filed to 4th today in some polls. Maybe lower in individual state polls, but that's where we've come from. And I think the problem has been I filed late. I haven't had a lot of money. They've been predicting my demise now every week since July, and I'm still hanging in there and still doing the job. And if I get all the people behind me, the ordinary folks out there who are willing to shell out a few bucks to help us out, it'll be one of the most transforming elections in history. But I think there's also the fact that some in the media don't want me. The fact is they know that I'll beat Al Gore or Bill Bradley. They know it. And I've got to tell you, I will beat them if given the chance. I'm not sure any of the other Republicans can.
Well, you know, Mary's way too polite, I have to say. You really think you're going to get 1 million people to give you $36 million each in January, and you think that the people in the press are against you because you're the only one who can beat Al Gore? Well, I don't know anyone in the media who has come to that conclusion yet. And you like to say that...
Wait just a second, David.
Okay,
I've been
go
around
ahead.
there I've been around there for 23 years.
Longer than me.
I beat Al Gore and Bill Bradley when they were in the Senate. And let me tell you something, if I'm given the chance to go up against them, you won't have to worry about me in the debates. It's one thing to debate people you agree with, like the Republican debates. It's another thing to debate people that you know are wrong and you know don't have the right philosophy.
But this gets back to what we were talking about a moment ago. You seem to be saying that you don't think George W. Bush can beat Al Gore or Bill Bradley. Why is that?
Well, that isn't what I said. I said that I'm worried about it.
Well, why are you worried?
Well, because there is a lack of experience there. Let's face it, no matter which way you look at it, we're talking about the most important job in the world, the presidency of the United States, with some of the most important responsibilities, the most important responsibilities in the world. It's going to take somebody who has a lot of experience, and that's something I offer. Plus the fact that everybody knows I have the guts and the common sense conservatism to get the job done. So it's just a matter of getting our message out. We're trying to do the best we can. And I think as the ordinary people out there start looking at my candidacy and say, by gosh, here's a guy who's turning down matching funds because he doesn't believe he wants the taxpayers to support his campaign. Here's a guy who really has always fought for us, the people. Here's a guy that came from nowhere, who literally was born in poverty, worked as a janitor at one time, learned a trade as a young man, and worked in the building construction trade unions for 10 years. Here's a guy that's fought his way all the way up and knows and understands us. And when more people get to know that, I think they're going to say, you know, this guy Hatch, he could be a great president.
You know how fond I am of you and that story, but you know what? The way to communicate that is to campaign. And now everybody has a strategy. Bush has, it was announced today in the New York Times, in Iowa, New Hampshire, a South Carolina strategy. McCain has a New Hampshire, South Carolina strategy. What is the Orrin Hatch strategy? Not just because you're not going to be able to communicate to everybody, and you're not going to get up to Gore or Bradley, whomever it is on the other wrong side, until you get through the primaries. Where do you take your stand or make your stand or break out of the pack?
Well, like I say, most people haven't centered on this yet. We just cut a 30-minute speech today that we're going to send out to people to play all over Iowa and all over New Hampshire. This speech is a hard-hitting speech that really describes what's wrong with this current administration. We're saying things that have never been said before, things that the people need to hear, things that the other candidates are afraid to say. And I've got to tell you, I think when people start listening to that speech and they start paying attention to it, they're going to say, you know, this fella, Orrin Hatch, we've seen him for years around there carrying the ball on so many issues. Why not give him a chance to run as president and to be our president where he can carry the ball and do it, and he's got the experience to get it done right?
Okay,
I think I can get that done.
Yet another reason to look forward to the millennium is hear the new Hatch speech. If, and in the unlikely event the Senator remains in the Senate, we'll ask him when we come back what he would think of a potential colleague named Senator Clinton. Stay with us on Crossfire.
In our fast-paced world, it's important to take a moment to relax. Immerse yourself in one of the world's most inspiring musical experiences. Introducing the most relaxing classical album in the world ever. A listening experience perfectly suited to your world. Surround yourself with the tranquility and classical grandeur of Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart. This once-in-a-lifetime treasury is performed by today's greatest classical artists. Most relaxing classical album in the world ever. Over 2.5 hours of the world's best loved classical themes. To order, call now. This outstanding collection has been digitally mastered to further enhance this definitive listening experience. The most relaxing classical album in the world ever. On 2 CDs or 2 cassettes. Call now to order yours. use your credit card and call the number on your screen, or send check or money order for $22.98 for 2 cassettes, or $24.98 for 2 CDs, plus shipping and handling to the address shown. Remember, this collection is not sold in stores. Rush delivery available. Call now.
Early Edition with Carol Lynn and Leon Harris. Weekdays on CNN.
Welcome back to Crossfire. In the Crossfire tonight, songwriter and CD producer Orrin Hatch. As accomplished a musician as he is, we're asking him about his day job as a United States Senate leader and 2000 presidential contender. David Korn of The Nation magazine is sitting in on the loony left. David?
Well, thank you from the rabid right. Senator, you were saying before our break that you're running a campaign of campaign finance reform, which is often what people say when they can't raise the big bucks they'd like to have. I went to the website of the Center for Responsive Politics and looked up some of your fundraising over the past few years, and I found that you got $300,000 in donations from lawyers and lobbyists, $500,000 from the insurance, financial companies and real estate companies, and another $500,000 from the healthcare industry. Now, these don't sound like skinny cats to me. Can you please explain?
Well, they're not skinny cats, and they're people who support me because of the work that I do in the Senate. Now, I have to say that I haven't had much support from any of those groups running for president. I'm asking for ordinary people to send in $36. I'd like to change the face of the Republican Party. I'd like to change it from that of the fat cat Republican. But listen, if you want to see fat cats, look at almost any Democrat who runs for Senate. The fact of the matter is that I'd like to change that face, and I'm doing it. We've had thousands of people send in small donations, ordinary people who really care, who are really concerned about this country, and actually we're making some headway. And you should never count Orrin Hatch out. I'm a fighter. I'll stay in there, and we'll see what we can do.
I would never do that, but I'm just wondering why your anti-fat cat campaign didn't start years earlier when you were raising money for your Senate races. I mean, I'm asking you now because I don't have a Democrat in front of me. I want to know how Orrin Hatch sees this.
Well, I've always had lots of small donations from people, but I've also had support from people who know that I've done a good job and who basically support me. I'm not ashamed of that, but what I am ashamed of is the way our two parties basically allow their leaders to be picked by the inside elite and by the fat cat elite in our society. Tell me that isn't true. I can tell you right now that a John Kerry never had a Bob Kerry never had a chance because the fat cats in the Democrat Party had never given him a chance. In the Republican Party, we have picked our presidential nominees every time by the inside groups right there in Washington. And to be honest with you, I'm going to break through that if I can.
So you're against soft money now in presidential campaigns? Because that's the essence of fat cat money.
No, that isn't what I'm saying. I'm against taking people out of the process. I am for disclosure on the internet within 2 weeks after receipts and expenditures. I think that's the right thing to do. I also think you ought to raise these limits so that individuals are treated equally with PACs. But I'll tell you this, I don't think that you have campaign finance reform like John McCain thinks by taking away the rights of the parties and saying that it's constitutional to do that, but it's unconstitutional to take away the rights of the public interest groups or even people who appear on Crossfire like yourselves. That's soft money that you're using. The fact is that I think the best thing to do in campaign finance reform is disclosure and get the limits so that people can donate and help so that real candidates can run.
Well, of course, the Republicans are all talking about campaign finance reform, and nobody's really talking about the worst campaign finance abuses in the history of the presidency, those of the Clinton administration.
You got that right.
Let me divert. There's the totally different thing, and he'll never get over it already. Jeez, Louise,
money
let's
in brown
get back
paper bags
to this race. And we'll be so happy to get to the general election where we can talk about the many Clinton scandals. And of those, if you read any of these books, Barbara Olson's in particular, Mrs. Clinton is behind every one of the Clinton scandals. Almost every one. Filegate, Chinagate, all the rest of them. 2 questions on her Senate race. One, do you think that's fair game to bring that up in that Senate race? And two, should she be elected, do you think the First Lady has too much baggage because of these investigations to be an effective senator amongst your colleagues up there?
Well, I think that's going to be a wonderfully interesting race up there in New York, and I do think Giuliani will win. But she's going to be a very interesting candidate. There's no question she has a lot of baggage. There's no question that Giuliani knows it, and there's no question that they'll probably be brought out. But should she be lucky enough to win and come to the Senate, I think most people will treat her very fairly, and she'll come in, you know, and probably be a force right from the beginning. On the other hand, I think she'll be a force for evil, not a force for good. I shouldn't quite say it that way. She'll be a force for what's wrong, not a force for what's right. No, come on, David. I just, it is the end of the year, and I'm getting a little punchy here. But I've got to tell you, yeah, no, I'm not a drinker. What I have to say is that I hope she doesn't win. I like her personally. I like the president personally, but I think he's been an awful president in some ways. Certainly, the example that we have has been anything but good.
You just lost the Republican primary there, though, by saying that you like the president and Hillary personally.
Well,
before you said you had scary things to say in this new hatch speech of the millennium, can you tell us what some of those scary things are? We have 20 seconds.
Well, let me just say this. Frankly, you know, there are those who don't like me because I am a person who has a proven record of bringing people together and getting both sides to work together. You know, that's what we need in this country more than anything else. And if the ordinary people get behind me and send in their $36 or more checks for each family member, I'll turn this country around and do it the right way, for the right reasons, and we'll do it so the American people benefit.
Thank you very much, Senator. We have to go. Happy New Year to you. Mary and I will be right back with closing comments.
Happy holidays, Senator.
Relax your body. Free your mind. And soothe your spirit. Presenting Quiet Moods, your escape to a relaxing world. Quiet Moods, more than 3 full hours of music that will lift you up and soothe your spirit on 3 CDs or cassettes. Discover the soothing world of Quiet Moods. Here's how to order.
To order Quiet Moods, call 1-800-306-5300 or send $24.99 for 3 cassettes or 3 CDs, plus $4.95 shipping and handling to the address on your screen.
Don't miss tomorrow night's Crossfire when Harvard University's Cornel West and the Weekly Standard's Bill Kristol debate who led the 20th century. That's tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to that, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Didn't I tell you would love Orrin Hatch? He's experienced, he's funny, he's a leader, he knows how to get things done, he's passed 41 bills in the last session, and he's really authentic. And you know what, if he could get past the primaries...
Why are you not supporting him for president then?
Just because I'm supporting one doesn't mean I don't like the others. As I said, we have a wealth of wonderful candidates, and he is authentic. And if he did get up against Gore Bradley, they'd be goners.
He's a good-natured guy, but you know what? He's not going anywhere, and he shows that there are some big holes in the very short resume of Governor George W. Bush.
You just can't stand it.
He's the one who believes that Bush can't beat Gore and Bradley in a debate.
He's running against him, but if you don't think that's so, just wait and see.
Okay.
Wait and see. The new millennium, you'll be able to see Bush
From the left, I'm David Korn. Good night for Crossfire.
And on the right, I'm Mary Madeline. Join us tomorrow night for that wonderful debate on who led this century on Crossfire.
In our fast-paced world, it's important to take a moment to relax. Immerse yourself in one of the world's most inspiring musical experiences. Introducing the most relaxing classical album in the world ever. A listening experience perfectly suited to your world. Surround yourself with the tranquility and classical grandeur of Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart. This once-in-a-lifetime treasury is performed by today's greatest classical artists. Over 2.5 hours of the world's best-loved classical themes. The most relaxing classical album in the world ever. Call now to order yours. Use your credit card and call the number on your screen or send check or money order to the address shown. This collection is not sold in stores. Rush delivery available. Call now.
Millennium 2000, New Year's Eve on CNN.
Today, the most complete Wall Street wrap-up on television. Now live from the New York Stock Exchange. Street Sweep, today at 3:59 on CNN.
I love learning. Discovering things people might not know. Did you know they're the size of a squirrel when they're born? I learn a lot watching programs on cable. Now with AT&T digital cable, I get even more channels that teach me things. New channels like Home and Garden TV and the Sci-Fi Channel and the History Channel, all through the cable I already have. That is one big bear.
AT&T digital cable. For more channels that interest you, call now.
1999.
At the dawn of the new millennium, where will you be? Celebrate New Year's Eve with the musician of our generation in the concert of the millennium, Rave into the year 2000, starring. Order in this exclusive in-demand pay-per-view event and crown the century with the ultimate party song in your home. Mommy. Rave into the year 2000, starring. An in-demand pay-per-view exclusive.
Movies, 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 movies. See, that's what I love about pay-per-view on AT&T digital cable. More movies starting more often, and all I need is my remote to order. For example, look what's on this month.
Order Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me on January 1st on digital cable, and you'll receive the groovy soundtrack CD and the Austin Powers talking keychain free, baby. Order January 1st.
Yeah, baby!
Upgrade your pay-per-view. Upgrade to digital.
Movies.
The network of record for democracy today also reaches democracy's future. C-SPAN, providing Campaign 2000 coverage free to America's schools with lesson plans, a special website, even classrooms on wheels, all as a public service from America's cable companies. Information for democracy from C-SPAN, the cable industry's gift to America.
Sports Tonight with Fred and Vince.